It's been 6 months since my last video, so I want to let you know that the heart procedure was a success and I'm getting better every day. No more skipped beats, no dizziness, no longer out of breath, no more AFIB. I will be wearing a heart monitor for 5 days in a couple of weeks to confirm that everything is okay. Yes, I still have health issues, but they are manageable. I have an abnormal EKG, 2 heart blocks, a stable aneurysm just above my heart. In other words, it's not changing in size, it's not growing or anything. Hyperlipidemia, an enlarged heart, kidney disease, Raynaud's disease, spinal stenosis with bulging discs, and bone spurs. I fell off a ladder in November onto a concrete floor 10 feet below. Big mistake. I had no broken bones, and it only caused soft tissue damage. And that's good. Physical therapy, however, was too aggressive, and it caused further damage to my neck. I spent New Year's Eve in the hospital emergency room. And now, after 3 months, I feel much better, but it's painful to turn my head too far to the left or backwards. I'm doing exercises to improve. The lesson learned here is no more ladders and no more climbing cliffs where you sort of hang out over the cliff. It's too risky for a guy who's turning 78 in a couple of weeks. One more thing, my vision and hearing have deteriorated. Glasses don't help, and in fact, glasses make it worse. It's no longer really safe for me to drive, particularly at night, because reflections are just awful. So I will be having cataract surgery on both eyes. I'm also being fitted with custom hearing aids. Now these hearing aids will have molds cast to fit my ears, so they'll fit better. And I may ask for the mold to have a little pointy tip on the top to be like Spock. Just kidding. I really like those old Star Trek movies. Assuming that everything goes as planned, I look forward to car camping in May or June, hitting the dirt with my Jeep. It was a lot of fun. And as you may know, it's been raining a lot here in California. In fact, too much rain, flooding, mudslides, broken dams. And so most campsites and dirt roads are now closed, but they should be open if the rain stops. During the last 6 months, I've spent a lot of time in bed, flat on my back. And this is where I've been sleeping and resting and recovering. And I've been thinking about the projects that I did as a kid but never completed. And so I planned these projects, how I'm going to complete them and what I'm going to do. On good days, I was able to get out of bed and work on these projects. And so these projects are beginning to come to life, and they will be highlighted in future camping adventures. The projects include making a solar cooker from an umbrella, using a crystal set radio that I built as a kid outdoors when camping as a survival means of communication, and understanding the beauty of nature hidden in rocks. I did some things as a kid with slide projectors, and I want to try them with modern equipment. I'll go over those a little bit, but let me show you around my bedroom. This is my bed, and one of the things that I liked to do over the years was making stained glass projects. And so this is stained glass that I made. This one is. These over here I made. This one is made out of rocks rather than stained glass. And rock collecting was a big-time hobby that we had in our family when I was a kid, and I have lots of rocks around here. I built a little tray so that the birds can come and I can look at them from my bed. And there's a dry riverbed out beyond. have had more rain, twice or three times the amount of rainfall that is expected on an average year. Last year we didn't have any rain, zero rain, and now it's everywhere. As an 8-year-old boy, I read directions on how to make a solar cooker by lining an umbrella with aluminum foil. And so I wanted to do this project so bad, but Mother said no. She was afraid I would break her umbrella, and aluminum foil was too expensive to waste. And so I never did this project. And this uncompleted project was in the back of my head for 70 years. Now I had a chance to do it. I was in bed most of the time, I designed it, and when I felt good, I could make it. And it worked amazing. Look at this, it worked. And in 10 minutes it cooked an egg. And so I decided to make other solar cookers. And 2 or 3 or 4 different designs. Here you can see them right there. And they're ready to use on camping trips. I'm waiting for a day when it isn't raining and actually cook some meals while camping. One of the solar cookers is small enough that it can be used for backpacking too. So it'll be fun to test these. The second project that I started as a boy was a crystal set radio. And I became interested in crystal sets. I read about them, and they don't use any batteries. So I made one with the sort of stuff we had around the house. Let me go get it. Let me show it to you. I've tested it outdoors, right in the creek nearby, the dry river bed. And I want to use this out on a camping trip and see how well it can pick up stations that are other places and just have it listening, plug it in, get everything all set up, sit in my hammock or wherever I'm sleeping and just listen to the radio all night long. That'll be so much fun. The reason why I want to do that now is I wanted to do that to use this as a kid on a 1-week camping trip as a 6th grader. In our school, all 6th graders were invited to this 1-week camp. The boys learned, for example, how to use a knife for carving. And the girls took other things like cooking and how to cook outdoors. I asked my parents, but they said no, it is against the rules to bring a radio to the school camp. So this project was in the back of my head since I was 12 years old. The third project that I started as a kid, and it goes way back to the fact that our family were rock hounds belonging to a club, the Bellflower Gem and Mineral Club, and would go on monthly camping adventures. And this was from the 1950s through the 1970s. My parents continued it long after I was married. And so we collected all these rocks, and they were cut with diamond saws into slabs and made into cabochons. What people would do was they'd look at these very close and see the designs. They'd look at fossils, and they'd see all sorts of interesting things, but they had to use a magnifying glass to see some of this. My twin brother and I, when we were about 15, decided we can take these slabs and put them in a slide projector. And if they're transparent, you could see what that beauty is. And so we did this. And it was amazing. It was the first time, at least in our club, for groups of people to see exactly what were some of the details hidden in rocks. Many, many years later, there isn't anything such as slide projectors, and we don't use them. But we can do the same thing with a flat screen scanner, the type of scanner that you use for old photographs and putting them electronically, making them electronic, digital copies. For the time, if you have color slides, you remember the little slides? Well, the flat screen projectors will digitize those in great detail so that you can see what's inside them. And there's software to look at to emphasize different things. This is the inside of a nodule, and you can see the designs in it and the lines and everything. There's unbelievable beauty locked inside of this. And so I'm putting together a slideshow that actually turned out to be a movie, because with modern technology, you can also do all sorts of things to see all this beauty up close as a very unusual artistic movie. And so I've been working on that, and you're going to see a separate video very soon on how this looks together. And you can do this sort of thing with all sorts of objects. Flowers you can do up close and personal, and a bunch of stuff like that, macro photography with a scanner. As a final comment, life is good. I am as madly in love with my wife, Deb, as when we first met in college 55 years ago. I was a graduate student and she was an undergraduate. We celebrated our 53rd anniversary in December with a trip to Santa Barbara. And my iPhone made the attached video, selection of photographs and music using artificial intelligence. To me, this is amazing that it put together such a nice video. Until next time, stay safe. Remember the past, but live in the present. Every moment is precious. Peace be with you.